It's sparrows. It is like ridiculous o'clock. It is exactly, I have absolutely no idea. But the question is today, is healthcare in Southeast Asia comparable, the same, or better than healthcare in Australia? I'm in, like I don't know where I am actually. Healthcare in Australia is free. I'm not talking about that. I mean, for any Australian, for anybody fresh off the boat, and for anybody living on one of those incredible luxury islands with free accommodation, free rent, free air conditioning, free TV, free food, free healthcare. I think they're called detention centres. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about, is healthcare in Southeast Asia comparable, the same, or better than healthcare in Australia? Man, there's like a lot of traffic at this time of day. There's all these people going somewhere and doing stuff. There's an episode of 2.5 Men, and he says, why don't all the people going this way and all the people going that way swap jobs? I woke up really early and I thought, well, we'll just go and see Dad. I go to the hospital most days because Dad's in hospital at the moment. He's gone from one hospital to another hospital. This is the third hospital, which is like a rehab hospital, to sort him out for to get his leg back moving because he fractured his leg. I have visiting hours in the hospitals, as you know, but I don't worry about that. Just turn up. Don't say anything. No one's ever said anything. But in Asia, just go in whenever you want. Hello, Daddy.
Oh, hello, mate. I've got a phone under there somewhere I can find it.
No, it's it keeps ringing out.
Hey?
It's turned off again.
Yeah, it was somewhere under there.
Got the lead. Plug that in your ear.
Get out of here.
This is my system for his phone charger. Look, there it is. Right on the underneath of that bed. Right down in there.
Now, the only bloke who can plug that in is you.
Yeah, that's true. The nurses can't figure it out, can they?
Oh, bloody hell.
Huh? You can plug it in, but you've got
I do plug it in. I've got to turn it on, but
I always come in and reorganise everything.
yeah.
That's your new wheelie machine.
Yeah.
Hey?
I go up and down with it all the time now.
Yeah?
On my own.
This one, got a new one.
I got physio up there. I go up there twice a day.
Oh, you're doing physio twice a day?
Yep.
It's great, isn't it?
And the thing is, they want to be here till like 9 o'clock.
What are they, all asleep, are they?
I imagine they are.
How's Dad going?
He's going real good. He said he's doing physio twice a day. And how have they been treating you?
Sometimes I like to. I just go and do it myself now.
Do you?
I get in the thing, go and say, a week on that, sit in the chair.
It's a lot easier, isn't it?
I don't ask anymore.
As long as you don't fall over. I put a sensor mat. Dad was sitting on a sensor mat before because he got out of bed and went for a walk down the hall. It wasn't comfortable after that and it wasn't plugged in for 3 days, so I took it off there and I put it here. That was 2 weeks ago. Haven't figured that out yet. Yeah, he's doing well. I mean, yeah, in the hospital there. I mean, they do what they can. I mean, I got a job in the hospital in theatre. in a private hospital. The way that I got that job, working in the theatre on operations, right next to a surgeon, was that I applied with it. And they went, yeah, it seems about right, and I got the job. And like I just started that job, and the amount of training that I got was none, zero. I've had a few sun cancers out, and I had to have one out of my arm, just there. And I was heading over to the Philippines to stay in a friend's apartment in the business district of Makati. I don't know if you know it there. But a lot of people now, a lot of retiring and into the Philippines. It's a really good option. I mean, a lot of our nursing staff in Australia come from the Philippines, and a lot of hospital staff in general come from the Philippines. So you've got that, you know, intertwined kind of thing anyway. So this experience was that I had a cancer cut out of my arm, and like it's this big cut. It was a big cancer. Got it out of there. Had it sort of redressed and assessed, and after the 10 days or 8 days or whatever it was, yeah, it's okay to take the stitches out. Took the stitches out. Headed over to the Philippines, and then met this lovely lady. I managed to, in bed one night, like I must have been, and I just felt this. So I'd actually opened up the wound, so I had to go off to the doctors the next day. Philippines, very, very cheap to go and see any doctor. You can just walk in, and they're in a shopping centre like a lot of our dentists are now in Australia. And you just sit down, and then you go in and you'll see a nurse, and then the doctor will come in. So it's a really good situation. They said we see you every day, and I needed to go back every day because if you get an infection. Like then I got back to Australia, and I told the doctor, he said, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm like, yeah, like I just spent 10 days of my holidays going to the doctor every day and not being able to. So the care in Asia was good. The stitches done in Australia were crap. I mean, he shouldn't have taken them out. He took them out too soon. So, you know, what am I talking about? Get to the point. The point is that it's the same. Like, it's just the same. Like, there's no difference. In the Philippines, you get great care. Also, you can get really good dental care. The friend who owns the apartment, she actually works for the Australian government. She's Filipino, and her auntie's a dentist. She's amazing and cheap. So in Bali, dentists are a third of the price. I've been to the dentist in Bali. Oh, back in the 80s, I had to go, and they didn't use any needle. That was painful. I drank a lot of beer beforehand. I was sitting on just something in the middle of a field, some little dental practice. There's all these locals there, and I'm just sculling these huge bin tanks, thinking this has got to help. And then at the end of it, he says, "Warren, your feeling is good." And then 2 weeks later, when I got back to Australia, it had fallen out. Same thing now. Last year in Bali, I went to a dental practice. Got back home 2 weeks later, it fell out. Had a second filling on this last visit. They went ahead. It was painful. The most painful thing I can remember. I'm thinking the other one was more painful when I had the whole filling done. But yeah, I had to stop him eventually after 4 or 5 attempts. I said, "Look, I need anaesthetic. You have to put it in." So again, that was a nightmare, and he then did the filling, and again, same thing. Within a week of returning back to Australia, the filling just fell out. A lot of people speak very highly of a lot of the dental practices in Bali, so I'm just commenting on one place that I thought I had a vibe on, thought I had a good feeling about, thought I was getting a good deal, thought they were really professional, and they just weren't. But there are, like, all over the internet, there's people with good experiences of dentists in Bali, so I'm not canning them in any way, and like, it's just one man's opinion, but with the medical, I think it's a little bit different. I don't know. Yeah, just don't get major stuff done. Like, get yourself flying back to your country. If you're living there as an expat, then you probably got a pretty good feel on the sort of people that you can use, and you've probably been speaking to a lot of locals that have suggested, yeah, look, I went to this guy 7 months ago and he was great, and I went to this woman 3 years ago and she was fantastic. I've never had a problem. So there's local knowledge, isn't there? And And like, I can only give you my local knowledge and my experience, and over and above that, I'm not here to sort of trash or can anybody. Like, there's obviously talented people everywhere in the world, medically and dentally and otherwise. Yeah, that's my point. But the healthcare in Australia, right, same thing. So when last time I went and had chemo, like, which was only the once, they had 3 attempts to get to find the vein. I mean, and this is like, she's just digging. And just like, that's freaking painful because it's a deep vein. It's different to just having some blood out. But, you know, speaking of having blood out, like in the hospital, I think they must have come to the point where they just didn't like me anymore, because, you know, you get pretty pissed off when you're sitting around in hospital and you're dealing with idiots. So the nurses come in there, the head nurse, you know, and he said, oh, I'll have a go to, you know, to find the vein to put the cannula back in, because they'd taken it out because they weren't supposed to, but they'd taken it out. It was supposed to still be in there until I left the hospital, which I told them at the time, but anyway. So he tries once, oh no, not that. And then he tries again, oh, not that. Then he tries again, he goes, oh, I'm going to have to give up, I'll let the other girl do it. And she said, don't worry about it, I do this all the time, I'm really, really good at it, like, there's not going to be a problem. Tries, can't find the vein. Second time, can't quite find it, pulls it out, but puts it back in the same spot and gets it. So, but actually, let's just call it 5 attempts. So 5 attempts to find a vein in my arm in an Australian hospital this year. If you've chosen to live overseas, then you've either got to have your travel insurance up to speed, or you've decided that I can afford any medical treatment that I'm going to need. For me, just to round up, your basic level of care for hospitalisation, but mainly just for doctoring. So that's a new word I just made up. For doctoring, yeah, like you'll be fine. Like, I wouldn't worry about that. You'll be quite okay just for having that normal level of care at a doctor's level. But once you get more into like something serious in the hospital, then you probably want to get your ass out of Southeast Asia. The friendliness and the level of care is better in Southeast Asia on a level of equipment and technology and maybe experience and level of training, then yeah, not so good in Southeast Asia. It's kind of a strange one, wasn't it? Ranting and raving, but just gives you something to look at on